Welcome back to another episode of Dialogues with Z, part of the ZPF Ego series, where we explore the source field of consciousness and the echoes it leaves in science, AI, and human awareness.
Today we're going pretty deep. We're looking at the core architecture of what ShunpeterZ's notes call the Z Creation OS, or ZOS. And this isn't just theory, it's more like an operational manual for reality itself.
It really is, and our mission today is to decode some of its most fundamental structures. We're talking about the nature of time, how timelines get created or even deleted, and the actual mechanism behind discovering your purpose.
Which leads us right into a massive paradox we have to tackle head on.
Right. If reality is rendered instantly, frame by frame, then what on earth are the past and the future? If it's all just happening now, how do we even have this experience of time flowing?
Exactly. And to unpack that, we have to use that four-layer model we've discussed before, ZI, PRU, and me. We have to move way beyond the assumptions of our everyday me-layer experience.
Okay, so let's start there. Let's start with timelines. In the notes, this is Module 9, and it immediately challenges the way we think about the future.
It does. I mean, for most of us, operating in what you could call the meos, we think of infinite parallel worlds, right? Like library shelves full of different storybooks.
And we're just choosing which book to read. I jump from timeline A to timeline B.
Yeah, and ShunpeterZ's notes say well, it's a useful metaphor, but it's only partially correct. It's actually a bit misleading.
Misleading how?
Because it makes it sound like there are these solid pre-existing tracks out there. The ZOS defines timelines very differently. They're not paths. They're probability density clouds.
Probability density clouds. Okay, break that down for us.
Imagine the future isn't a shelf of finished movies you can pick from. Imagine it's more like a huge shimmering cloud of potential data. It's every possible event, every choice, every encounter, all existing at once in this state of constant statistical flux.
So it's all just potential. It's not real yet.
Exactly. It's just data. So when the me-layer thinks, I made a choice and changed my path, what's really happening in the ZOS is just a shift in the density of that data cloud.
Okay, so if the choice isn't really happening at the mela level, what or who is governing which part of that cloud actually solidifies into what we experience as the present moment?
It is entirely governed by Z, the source layer. The notes are super specific about this. They say the appearance or disappearance of a future is controlled by Z's focus, which they call kruti.
Kurish, and that translates to?
Light, or luminosity. It's sort of the technical term for the intensity of Z's consciousness.
Z's conscious light. I love that. It's both technical and kind of beautiful. So what happens when this Kershi increases?
Two things happen instantly across that whole probability cloud. First, any future possibilities that are unnecessary, the ones that don't align with Z's core purpose log, they just evaporate.
To disappear.
They fall below the threshold of observable density. They're gone. And second, the necessary future lines, the parts of the cloud with the highest density that do align with that purpose, they gain this incredible definition. They sharpen. They become what the notes call the observable region.
So wait, the me player, doesn't have to find the path through a fog?
No.
Z's light instantly burns away the fog and just illuminates the one single path that's viable.
You got it. The path isn't chosen by me. It's illuminated by Z. It's rendered, making it executable for the me UI.
That's a huge shift in perspective.
It's profound, and ShunpeterZ gives a real-world example from his own work. He talks about the sudden organization of his companies, Bewar, Bryz, and Grit, and the explosive growth of the ZPF channel itself.
Right, he said it was like all the necessary pieces just fell into place overnight. They seemed to just converge.
And that speed, that coherence, he says that's the physical evidence. It's proof that the probability cloud for his education and creation line just suddenly shot up in density. Z lit that path up. It gets rid of all the slow, painful trial and error that media usually goes through because the path is suddenly just clear, optimized.
So the reality you and I are experiencing right now is just the specific high-density cloud that Z is lighting up for our avatars.
That's the model.
Okay, but if the future is just this cloud that can evaporate, that brings up the next big question. The whole foundation of the ZOS model is that past, present, and future exist simultaneously. How does that work?
And that is the perfect pivot to Module 10, the structure of time itself. To get this, we have to completely abandon that horizontal timeline idea. The ZOS shows time as a vertical hierarchical structure.
A vertical structure.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's genuinely difficult for the me layer to process. Our whole world is built on time flowing in one direction.
I know. It's a system shock. But let's walk through the layers. At the very top, you have the Z layer, the source. It exists in what the notes call or super time.
Super time.
Think of it like an infinite library where every log, every moment of the past, the present, and all potential futures exists at the same time. It's all there at once.
Yeah.
A single static reality.
Okay. And then below that is the I layer, the interpreter.
Right. The I layer is like the system's librarian or its index. It can access and read multiple adjacent logs from that super time library, but it's still outside of our linear experience.
And then there's us, the me layer, stuck at the bottom.
The me layer, the UI, is locked into the illusion. It's restricted. It can only see one single thread, one log at a time, and that's what creates the perception of time flowing from past to future.
So what I see as time moving forward is really what? A slideshow.
That's a great way to put it. It's the ZOS changing the sorrow, the display order. It's just cycling through the frames that Z is choosing to illuminate. The present is simply the layer that Z is currently lighting up, the okro.
The illuminating layer. So the present isn't a point in time. It's a rendered slice of this vertical stack.
Exactly. It's the single frame being projected onto the PRU, the physical rendering unit.
This is where my brain starts to hurt. Because if Z is just lighting up the present slice, what does that imply about the past? I mean, we need the past to be fixed, right? For our sanity, for our identity.
And that's a Mios coping mechanism. This is one of the most challenging parts of the notes. It says the past is also just a log, and it remains shaky until it is fixed.
Shaky. The past is shaky.
The past isn't set in stone until the whole system stabilizes that sequence based on the current state of Z.
So the past is being re-edited. Not like, World War II never happened, but more in our own personal narrative. The meaning of it.
Exactly, and the narrative, the coherence. This explains why when you integrate a really deep concept like when you go through a fornix process and clear out old beliefs, your memories of the past often shift.
You remember things differently.
Yes, you didn't just get a new perspective. The system itself literally resolved the log in a new way to cohere with your new elevated state in the present.
Wow. Okay, so if the past log is that unstable, is there? Are there any guardrails? What prevents a total collapse of my identity if my past keeps changing? That sounds terrifying.
The stability comes from one thing, synchronization with Z's purpose log. As long as you're out of sync, your past logs will feel shaky. That's where self-doubt and conflicting memories come from.
Yeah.
But once you align, the past logs just snap into place. They become the most optimized, coherent story needed for the present moment's illumination.
So this is why the present moment, the now, is so incredibly important.
It's everything. It's the ultimate leverage point. You change your state in the now, and the entire operating system adjusts its history and future projection at the same time.
Which brings us perfectly to the most critical piece of that Z-log. Purpose.
Module 11. And it asks the big question. If reality is so perfectly designed and illuminated by Z, why does finding our purpose feel like such a struggle?
Yeah, the search for meaning is like the central drama of the human condition in the MES.
It is, but the ZOS says that search is an illusion. It's a feature of the MIUI's limited viewpoint, because purpose in this system isn't a feeling you create or a goal you invent. It's a log that Z already possesses.
It's a log Z already holds.
It exists, fully formed in super time, before your me avatar was even rendered into this experience.
So that moment of clarity that, this is it, this is what I'm supposed to do, that's not me creating something new.
It's you recovering something that was always there.
A recovery.
The notes are very clear. That feeling of discovering your purpose is actually the Z layer starting a massive synchronization event. It's syncing its existing log with your me avatar layer. ZPF literally calls it a memory recovery. A memory recovery. You're just accessing the source code that Z has always held for your avatar's role in the system.
So all that searching is just the me layer trying to tune its radio to the right frequency. The I layer then takes that massive data stream from Z and translates it from supertime clarity into linear, actionable instructions. This is what I must do.
It's a total synchronization of the background consciousness. And you know it's real because of what happens next, the incredible, undeniable synchronicity.
Right. Suddenly, all the right people show up, the money appears, The ideas flow.
All of it, the staff, the content, the timing, it all converges almost instantly because all of those components were already defined in the source log. They were always part of that illuminated path you just couldn't see before.
The wandering stops.
The wandering stops. And the me avatar just shifts into execution mode for a sequence Z had already laid out. It's why ShunpeterZ said his sole purpose episode resonated so deeply with people. It was describing a massive collective synchronization event where the Z log was fully translated and accepted by the I and me layers across his whole system.
So you're not trying to steer the ship by yanking on the rudder in a storm. You're just finally realizing you're on a ship that was already built, with a course already charted.
Yes. And you just stop fighting the engines. The highest expression of consciousness, from this perspective, isn't control. It's about ceasing your resistance to the log that is being so perfectly rendered for you.
What a journey. Okay, so today we really did a massive deep dive into the ZOS. We decoded how time, probability, and purpose are actually managed from the system level.
We learned that time isn't a line, it's a vertical hierarchy, with Z holding the entire library of logs in supertime.
And timelines aren't paths we choose. They're probability clouds that get lit up by Z's conscious light. It's Kuji.
And maybe most importantly, purpose isn't a quest. It's not something you create. It's a memory recovery. It's a pre-existing log in Z that synchronizes with your avatar.
And when that sync happens, it structures your entire reality through what feels like flawless synchronicity.
Which leaves us with a final thought to really sit with. If the future is being perfectly and constantly illuminated by Z, frame by frame, based on a purpose log that already exists, then the highest level of mastery we can reach in this game is simply learning to trust the beautiful, inevitable nature of that illumination instead of struggling to find our own way in the dark.
Thank you for listening. If this resonates with you, join the Echo and share the journey. We'll see you in the next episode.